how something crazy happened over like the last couple days.
So,
Microsoft said that upgrading to Windows 11 was easy. As if we thought they would come out and say, you know what, this was kind of a shit show. Like,
I don't even know what to say to this. So here's what we're not going to see.
mm-hmm.
The largely technical employees who work at Microsoft sending in the feedback about Windows 11 that says, where the F is blah, 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 whatever. We're never going to hear about that.
Right.
But the reason that upgrading, Microsoft didn't put out a report like this when they upgraded from Windows 10 version 1809 to 1903 or whatever, because that's all this is. Like the thing about Windows 11 that makes it Windows 11 is the user experience, right? But everything under that thin, oily layer on the top is exactly the same as Windows 10. So yeah, of course. I mean, like,
anyways, for people who don't,
makes me crazy.
I've been reading the news. Microsoft said it was very easy to upgrade 190,000 machines, all with TPM 2.0, to Windows 11.
So let me just find this. Now that you've said this, this makes me crazy. So I'm going to see if I can. Yeah, it was Windows Vista, and there was a blog post where it said something like, Windows Vista is one of the best versions of Windows we've ever made. This came from Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I wrote about this recently. I was like, wait a minute. How is this thing not the absolute best version? Like, they actually qualified that, right? So there's a quote that's sort of like that. This is amazing. By the way, Microsoft is a company, especially the Windows part of it, that is just all about telemetry, right? It's data. With that in mind, consider the following quote. Microsoft's upgrade to Windows 11 is largely considered the smoothest we've ever had.
That means there's some dissonance from that?
Considered? What is that? The question has arisen. Wait, what? Like, what is largely considered? That means there are people at Microsoft who perhaps don't believe that it is the best one you've ever done.
It's the 10th dentist, Paul. 9 out of 10 dentists.
Yeah, what is the other guy like? Yeah, I rub my teeth with magma.
Fascinating.
Anyway, you should always be nervous when you see a quote like that.
Yeah. The other fun thing that came out late on a Friday is for our friends of Halo Infinite. They put out another roadmap for Season 2, but they really just delayed everything by 3 months, which is what was the cover. So,
which, by the way, is Season 3, because these seasons are supposed to be 3 months long.
Supposed to be 3 months, but...
So let's do this. May, June, July, August. What happens in August, Brad?
You get 3 more months of Season 3, or 2, Season 2. And Forge...
Oh, they're actually going to extend Season 2?
They're extending Season 2 another 3 months.
That's what they did with Season 1.
Right, so Season 2
is now... Are we starting to get a vibe from this team at all? Is anyone... If you had to draw one conclusion from the absolute shit show that first public airing was, and the year-long delay that followed it, and then their inability to deliver on what I would call the game, like Forge, single-player co-op, like seriously? These are not like little weird add-ons.
I don't know, Paula. Maybe if you pull them internally, they would say it's largely considered a great launch. But yeah, so Forge, the tragedy here is that they came out and said Forge will ship with Season 2, which it technically does.
Will.
Now that they've delayed the launch of Season 3 by 3 months. Now, the other thing, too, is co-op, which is a big deal in the Halo world, like being able to sit on the couch and play it.
Dude, you know what? This thing's going to come roughly a year after this game launched now.
Well, it's even worse than that, Paul.
I mean, like, who even cares?
It's even... So, when you think co-op, how do you think... When someone says, hey, we're launching Halo co-op, what is in your brain? Like, what do you think?
Well, two things, right? I mean, the ability to play... historically, just the thing you're referring to is back in the day, people used to do it on a 4-split screen on one screen and sit there and play together. I would imagine that has to be part of it, and then the other part is people playing remotely, like you do with your friends when you play Fortnite or whatever. You get a party going and jump into the game.
So they phrase it. I have to go back and double check, but they now phrase it as network co-op. I am betting that you're not gonna see
Split
that.
screen's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's my guess. Anyways, Halo's doing well.
Well, this is a TV show. Hey, everyone let their Paramount Plus subscriptions lapse this month like I did because,
started out with such high hopes, and then
I know.
I was kind of hoping he'd keep the helmet and more, maybe even the pants on throughout the entire series. But here we are.
Sure. Well, while we're taking stuff off, we figured, what the hell? Right?
Yes, Jesus. Speaking of taking stuff off, somebody apparently took off their Pixel watch in a bar in San Francisco, I'm assuming, or somewhere, and left it.
Yeah. Doesn't that reek of
PR stunt?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
right? I mean, isn't that your first reaction to this?
Yeah, it's too well orchestrated.
Plus, for some reason, it's always depicted without the strap.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that would explain how it fell out of his pocket or something, but you're walking around with a Pixel watch without a watch band on
Maybe
it?
he had it on a chain, like he was, you will want this.
Like an old-timey
you will want this.
pocket watch or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe.
Either way, it's round. It's got a dial. It's coming from the Googs.
It does have a dial. A crown, we might call it.
A crown, maybe.
Language I only know because of Apple.
Yeah. I didn't even know things were like the little widgets on a watch were called a complication until
right. Why would you?
Because I'm not a watch connoisseur.
Who's a watch nerd?
Yeah. Although they are out there, and they're very expensive.
A complication is the worst possible name for something like that.
Well, especially on a digital product. Like I get it. Yeah. I get why the name existed on an analog product where you're like literally shoving more gears and springs in there. It's complicated. Yep. On a watch, it's like it's.
Yeah, that was a chance to rename it. The thing is, like, when you make the move from analog to digital, like we, in computers, everyone knows we have a desktop, and it's supposed to emulate the desktop that's in front of you, and you've got files and things like that. And okay, there's some metaphor going on here. You don't bring forward a metaphor that nobody knows. A digital crown, a complication. Like, this is language who are you trying to win points with? The people that know about this stuff hate you. They don't want this thing, right? They want real watches.
Yes.
You're not impressing anybody with this language. I don't know. That's always been my take on that. But anyhow, we got a lot to be grumbly about today.
That's just another Monday.
Just starting off just like Monday always does.